Hey, what's up guys? Powstick reached out to me and sent me these USB chargers for free to do an honest review. They didn't pay me for this review. Now, I will put all the product links in the description below if you guys are interested. Starting off, we have our 8-port smart USB charger, and each port is capable of up to 2.4 amps. So, decently fast charging. It comes with a regular power cable, which is nice because the AC to DC converter is built in, so you don't get a power brick that takes up a lot of space. And you get 3 USB cables. So you get a lightning cable, a micro USB cable, and a USB-C cable. So all the common cables that current devices use. Moving on, we have our enhanced version. Is the way I think about it is because it's exactly the same thing as this, except you get a digital display which tells you how much current each device is taking. And you have the option, which is pretty awesome, that you can set a timer for this charger to stop and pretty much stop charging all the devices. And this comes with a simple power cable and no USB cables. And finally, we have our docking station style USB charger, which is 6 ports, and they're all here. And you get a simple power button so you could, turn on so they all start charging, or turn it off so they all stop charging. And it can actually double as a storage bin kind of thing for your tablets or your phones and stuff, which is also really nice. And it's actually very sturdy. Now, when I put all my tablets and everything on here, I'll lift it up to show you guys. It's actually very, very sturdy. The cool thing about this one is it actually comes with 6 USB cables. So you get 3 lightning cables, you get 2 micro USB cables, and you get a USB-C cable. And the same type of thing, where you get a regular power cable, so no power brick or anything, because the AC to DC is built in to this. Now, all of these chargers have a 60 watt maximum or 12 amps. So now I'm actually gonna plug these in, bring out my devices, and we'll continue from there. Okay, so I plug this in. We get a little green LED in the center indicating it's ready for charging. There is no physical switch, so if you want to leave it powered off, you physically have to unplug it. But this thing's good to go. So I am going to use the 3 provided cables it came with to charge my random devices. And I brought random devices to show you guys that anything I tested with these for USB charging, even little RC cars for my kids and stuff, it charged. So starting off, we have my older Fire HD10. If I try to plug this in, charges that. I have my MX Master 3 mouse, charges that. I have my Ring battery, charges that. And my MX Master 3, you see the little green LED over here. And I have my iPhone 12 Pro, which charges that as well. So it pretty much worked with anything I tested, which is what I would expect. Now, important to note, each port can do up to 2.4 amps, but it can do a total of 12 amps maximum. So if you have more than 5 devices connected, it physically can't go more than 12 amps, so it has to start throttling. Now, that also means that just because it can do 2.4 amps, even if you have 4 devices connected, like in my case right now, I have 4 devices connected, it doesn't actually mean that each device is even using 2.4 amps. Like with a phone or anything, that as the battery gets full, it tends to slow down the charging rate to preserve battery life. So as a result, I don't even think my phone is taking the 2.4 amps right now. Just as a heads up, that's kind of how it works. But 2.4 amps is fairly fast charging. Not the fastest, but fairly fast. Moving to the enhanced version, it gives you some information on the screen. So right now there's no timer set, so you could see that there's no number before H. So it will stay on as long as there's power. If I want to set a timer, I just push this button, so now it says 1H, which means 1 hour later, all the USB ports will stop charging. And it gives you 4 options for that. So 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and 4 hours. And then back down to stay on as long as there's power. Now, what's the advantage of having a timer? The good thing about having a timer is the fact that it helps prevent overcharging your devices. So typically, if you were to keep your phone plugged in overnight, that would reduce your battery's lifespan. So by setting it to 1 hour, this thing stops charging it and your battery should last longer. So actually that's my favorite feature about this device. The other thing is it also tells you how much current each device is using. So if I plug this into, let's just say port 5, we could see that now port 5 is blinking and it shows me how much current that device is taking. And I removed the mouse because the mouse was fully charged, so it stopped charging. So I just replaced it with my other phone instead. So the more things I plug in, it's going to start detecting stuff. So now I plug this into port 1. So now you see 5 is blinking and now 1 is blinking. When 1 is blinking, it shows me how much current my Fire HD is taking. And when 5 is blinking, it shows me how much current my Pixel 5 is taking. And you know, the more devices you plug in, basically works the exact same way. And if you don't touch the screen for a while, it basically dims. Moving to the docking station like charger, you can see that it's well thought out. And the reason for that is because this last slot is the widest, and this one's fairly wide, and then these 3 are the same size, and maybe this front one is the same size as these 3 as well. I like the fact that they spaced it apart, and I'll show you guys a demo of that. And then you get a little power button which turns on and turns off the charging for all the ports. Now, one thing that would be nice is if they included at least 2 USB-C cables, either by switching out one of the lightning cables or one of the micro USBs, just because USB-C devices are fairly common. I think they included 3 lightning cables because iPads are also fairly common. Granted, the iPad Pro uses USB-C. Anyways, let me show you guys what I mean by this spacing. So I have a power bank that would fit in here easily. It can also fit in here, which is nice. It kind of fits in here, not fully, but kind of. I could also put it in the front. I mean, you know, it will stay, so it's fine if it's on the desk and stuff, but it fits here very comfortably. My kids Fire HD kids version only fits in here. If you put it in here, I mean, I guess it kind of fits, but it doesn't really go in all the way, and then from here it doesn't really fit at all. So I like the fact that it could fit in here, but it fully sits in here, no problem. So that's actually a really good thing because I don't have to remove the case, and this can really act like a shelf for this thing, and then I could put my other tablets here as well, just easily. In fact, I think I've placed the cables in a way where I will line these up like this, and this is my iPad Pro, Fire HD, my old iPad Air, and I could put, let's just say, my phone in the front right here. So this is actually pretty cool that it does that. Now, this gets fairly heavy, but you could see that this plastic is not really bending. It's like a really strong plastic. I really like that. So it seems like a durable product. Now, because I was requesting an additional USB-C, I'm just going to use my own. Maybe the cables they include will work out for most people, but for me, it would be nicer if they included at least 2 USB-Cs. So you start plugging this stuff in.
12 seconds later.
So everything's connected. If I push this power button, everything turns on and starts charging, no problems. So it's actually pretty awesome, and I like the fact that I can see my full screen on my phone on the front as well. So if I was trying to watch something and stuff, it's also fairly useful for that. So well thought out design, overall really good products for all the chargers for their use cases. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.